here at Sandy Park so far?
Well, it's been quite a fast week. There's a lot to learn in a very short space of time, but in that sense, it's a pretty good time of year to arrive with still a bit to play for. Well, the squad are pretty settled, and they've been great at sort of taking me through and walking me through everything, so I can start to understand how things work.
And what are the differences between your previous role? Because obviously then you presume you didn't have the players for long periods.
No, very short periods of time, and remote contact a lot of the time as well. So with the old job, you spread out all over the country, and whilst that's very interesting in terms of getting around and seeing the lads in their clubs, you may really miss that day-to-day contact. And I think even in this first week, having that day-to-day contact with players and the rest of the coaching staff has been fantastic.
And I would imagine you must know quite a few, certainly the younger boys here.
Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces in the youngsters, and that's a great credit to the club and to the region and bringing through a lot of good young players, but also one or two of the other guys you've seen along the way. And when you're coming into the clubs, because you get to know some of the other guys anyway, and this has always been a club that when you come to it, they've always been very welcoming. So it's nice to see a few familiar faces and get to know a few new folk too.
How bright do you think the future is for these youngsters? Because historically Chiefs have struggled to get players into the full England setup, haven't they?
Well, I think now that you're playing regular Premiership rugby is absolutely the key. I mean, we have a lot of good youngsters come through the programme, but if you're not playing first team rugby for your club, then you're not going to play for England. And these guys are pushing hard for places, for inclusion. Obviously, Jack's had a really good run of things in the first team. Henry's pushing hard, Luke's pushing hard. And you've got the other guys coming up as well. And I think push into the first team first, get your club stuff right, and then the England honours will come.
You touched on earlier, you come here really very much at the climax of the season, don't you?
Yeah, it is. It's a good time to start from a coaching point of view, because it gives me a chance to get to know everybody before pre-season and see the lads on match day. Have a little bit of a look around to see where maybe we can add value for next year, or what might be good to bring in. So that's a great thing. It's a little bit different. There's not much you can add at this stage that wouldn't unsettle guys. You've got to be very careful that you don't come in and unsettle folk when there's only a couple of games left and things have been going so well anyway.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome. Thanks.
What sort of drew you to the Chiefs in particular? I know when we spoke down in Plymouth after the 20s game, you said about the day-to-day, but what in particular drew you to the Chiefs? Well,
for starters, the great young bunch of lads coming through. I think anybody coming into a club wants to know that there's a real pipeline of good young local talent coming through, and that's really important for the health of any club. I think the coaching staff here, obviously I know Ali from coaching with him a few years ago. I had a huge amount of respect for him, but also Ricky and Rob and all the other guys. They've done a huge amount of good work down here, and when you see that happening and you come in and see that happening, and you kind of get that feeling, well, this is something I'd really like to be part of. I miss club life, and if you're going to join a club, you want to join one that's got a great identity. It's a proper rugby club, and as we've spoken about before, some of those European games this year, the travelling support was just fantastic. Regardless of the results, there was just a real sense of belonging with the team, a real sense of team, not the lads plus the supporters. It was we're all in this together and we're all trying to win things, and that's a very attractive thing to be part of.
I think it was the tomahawk chop at home you were talking with your wife, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The deciding factor.
The kids are pretty good at it. It's a good song. We've had a lot of it at home. They've got that down pat, and a couple of inflatable tomahawks knocking around the place already. So yeah, they're really looking forward to coming and being involved in the club as well. 3
massive games left for the club, and that push for Europe again is the key objective now.
Yeah, it is. I think it's large in everybody's minds, but I guess the stock answer you'd probably get from everybody, we've got Irish this weekend. That's about as far as I've looked, to be fair. We'll get stuck into them, and then the rest of the season will come when it comes.
Excellent.